a lot of people again. Yeah. So, sort of wild.
Yeah.
You observe a lot, in this situation. You observe a lot, and a lot of it doesn't seem to make sense the way you would normally think things would make sense, which is really valuable in a way because the mental logic is truly insane if you see it from outside of itself. Yeah, so you would just naively expect people to uh, love to hear the gospel or the good news, but that's not always the case. Yeah, because sometimes a message is a threat to something, and then it's sort of like, wow, yeah,
I've been there at one time.
yeah. So, but today, let's just talk about the simplicity of to get a sense of time. Uh, that which comes after is implied to be before. Yes. So obviously, there's seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Yes, an experience, and then there's a reaction to that experience. Uh, and then that reaction implies there was a someone who reacted. Yes. So now there's the seeing. There's a reaction to the seeing, which would be a narrative. Yeah. And then there's an implying or a presupposing of the seen. Yeah. Or the seer. Yeah. So if you looked at it linear, it's the end point of this little event. Yeah. So seeing seen, and then it would be a crazy idea called seer, but it's seer, it's seeing seen, and then the seer is presupposed to be before the seeing. Yeah, you see it? Yeah. So that's time. Now you don't have to know everything about it. All you need to know is a little bit about it. I don't know how much, but then there'll be a recognition. Yes, like a sense felt recognition of time, and you'll see why time is so essential, because the only way that which comes after could appear to be before is through time. Yeah, there would have to be a little trick, a little like switcheroo, so to speak. So there's a sense of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Yes, it's an activity. So if you are the seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, your nature would be more of a being or an activity or a verb. Yes. And then basically it's all ing. There's doing, thinking, feeling, hearing, seeing, tasting, touching. Yeah. And then there's a reaction to that. You become conscious of that conscious contact, let's say. Yeah. Or there's a consciousness of the conscious contact. See, the language is difficult because you would just you mean something completely different than when it comes out you are in contact. Yes. So there's consciousness, let's say, that knows something. It's in that contact. Yeah. So there's the seeing, and then there's that activity of consciousness. Now the seeing gets claimed, obviously, and for that to happen, there needs to be time. Yes. Or there would be no way seeing would translate into a seer. Yeah, it would just be seeing, clear and distinct. Yeah, there would be no confusion or muddling or anything. But in time, the mental state reacts to the conscious contact. It's not what's in conscious contact. Yes, the mental state isn't what's in conscious contact. It reacts to the conscious contact and claims it, yeah? And then what it claims is the verbing, and it uses that to imply the noun. There would be no way the noun would ever take off as a narrative unless it was like kick-started with the claiming of the verbing, yeah? So verbing is happening. It's not happening to anyone, yeah? But verbing is happening. So, yeah, yeah. So there's a feeling. Now, you don't know it's the feeling of being disconnected. Disconnected is a narrative, yeah? So there's a feeling, and then there's a claiming, and then it's that bit of information's translated into I'm feeling disconnected. But it's just a feeling, yeah? And then the head puts it in like a shoebox, yeah? I'm feeling disconnected. And it keeps doing that. And some of it's really far-fetched, but then you get habitually, there's an activity or something happens where there's the audience that seems to get drawn in to the narrative, yeah? And gives it a reality that it doesn't have. So the presupposing of a non-existent thing is the body being seen as that which is conscious, that which is doing, thinking, the thinking, seeing, the seeing, hearing, the hearing, yes? So that non-existent thing is presupposed to be existing, is actually to be that which is doing existence, really, yeah? And then that non-existent thing, now given a reality by tying it to the existence, which is no thing, let's say, yeah, wants to get salvation for itself as a non-existent thing. You could see that that could lend itself to some trouble, yes? A non-existent thing seeking salvation as if it's an existing thing, yeah? And so if this is the case, and I believe Ramana was basically saying this is the case, then your spiritual practices, just like any other practices, are being used to reinforce the non-existent thing. How could they use it? Now, what's using it? You aren't using it. The mental activity is using it to support the narrative. Part of the narrative is you're the doer. So when there's a reaction to the narrative from the selfing, the reaction comprises the idea of being the thing that did it or the thing that was done to by it, yeah? So, and it's happening so quickly, you don't see it before it starts, yeah? So suddenly, that which comes after, which is this idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, is now presupposed to be before. So I saw it very easily with selfing. When we were trying to get something across by the term selfing, people would get in touch with me and go, wow, I really get the selfing. And then, they would call me an hour later and say, I've been selfing all day, or the selfing's driving me crazy. Now that's the product of the selfing talking about the selfing, you see? So the product claims the selfing as something the product's doing, yeah? All the while, it's the mental process claiming, yeah? Without us, whatever us is, agreeing with it, it wouldn't have breadth or depth or weight. It would be straw-like, yes? It would be blown by the wind quickly, yeah? But because we're the audience that's getting rapidly intensively drawn into the play seems as real can be. but its reality doesn't come from the play, obviously. It comes from us. We lend it reality, yeah, by believing. And what are we truly believing is the idea that we're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, yeah? And this entity has attributes called consciousness or sentience, as if it was the author and the purveyor and the cause of this consciousness or sentience, instead of being a demonstration of it or an appearance as it, yeah? Yeah. So if you study time without getting the sense feltness of it, it's going to be hollow in a way. It's going to be like being a professor of holes who keeps falling into the holes. Yeah? It's a sense feltness. It's something other than knowledge or intellect. But now you feel time. Now it doesn't change that the mental state and the story is going to be affected by it. It's just there's a seeing something that you used to look from. So you used to look from the culmination of an activity called selfing. Now you're seeing the activity called selfing, and therefore it doesn't culminate in that idea of self. Yes? So because the selfing is before and the self is after. The selfing is happening, the self isn't. For the self to seem to be happening, we, as whatever we are, have to give life to the selfing. We have to make the leap it's implying because it can't build a bridge to it. Yeah? It's not real. It's never going to be real. There's never going to be a self. Yet, when we feel like one, we feel like we've been one already. That's time, you see? When the idea of self, that feeling of being the doer of stuff, arises in time, yeah, it comes after the doing, yet it's presupposed to be a historical doer. That's all time. That's all a magic trick based on time. Yeah. So what would happen if you start in life from what's after, masquerading as that which is before? A lot of shenanigans could ensue, yes? You may be driving in a car or being driven by a car, not looking at the road, but looking at the rearview mirror. So you basically see only the past, as the Course in Miracles would say. You're getting a reflection of the mental activity, and you're seeing this past idea of being Paul as a present reality. Yeah. So the before is very clear, it's not the after. Yeah? The before, what we are, is very, very, very clear, it's not the after. Yes? It just needs a simple understanding to recognize the pseudo before as after. Yeah? In that recognition, what becomes obvious? The before. Not to the after. That's pointless. You're not trying to convince the after, yeah, because its programming is convincing it's as the before. Why would you waste time trying to change that base programming? You would only do that as the after. You see it all from the before. The before doesn't tinker with the fucking after. It accepts it, it sees it, yet it doesn't give the life it used to give to it anymore. Yes? So you lose interest in self. Self does not lose interest in self. That's more interest in self. You, whatever that entails, not as you picture it in the head, yeah? You lose interest in self. That works. Yeah? And what occurs? There's an interest in what's before. not as a goal or as a metaphysical, like mind candy, but as what we are, yeah? And you'll feel it and you'll sense it when the before is now before and the after is now after, yeah? Which it's always been. The cart has never been before the horse. It was just being seen that way. It never happened, yeah? So the horse is always in front of the cart. See, this isn't about moving mountains, yeah? It's seeing something or nothing, really. And in that, the chips fall differently. And you come to realize, or you come to know, or you're in the state of being convinced of things that you weren't convinced or knowing before. Yeah? Yet when there's a knowing of them now, it's like you've always known it. Yeah? That what the head manufactures never produces that feat. It has to work hard for you to believe that you've been here all this time. But when you see what you're not, that where you're seeing that is what we are, has always been this way. Yes? It comes with the package. Yeah. And I don't know how many times the emperor needs to be seen with no clothes. You may see it once with no clothes, and then every time it puts on a different wardrobe or a different garb, you'll see through the wardrobe and garb. Yeah? Or it may take 15 or 20 times to see the emperor with no clothes, to recognize it never has clothes, even when they're on it. Yeah? It's still the emperor with no clothes. Yeah? I don't know how long. Could be today. But there's going to be a movement, and once it's sort of like, all right, it looks like it's staying exactly in place, but then there's one little 0.01% of interest, and then the whole thing moves. Yes? Yeah. Now, instead of sincerely taking a position, you're established in it. And when you're established in it, it tells you you've always been established in it. So whatever you thought was true was just thinking it was true. And it wasn't even you doing that. Yeah? Hallelujah. We're not super people. We're outmatched. The only quality that's untouchable is our inherent nature, awareness. Yeah? There is existence. Yeah. There is onness. That's what turns the tide. Yeah? Not more knowledge or more understanding or more feats of superhuman kriyas or shit like that. It's just simply a loss of interest in the after. Yeah? The after has its point. It has its part of the play. It has its stage. Yeah? But the before is contextual. Yeah? You don't have to look for it because you're seeing from it. Yes? Yeah. You don't have to know it because you're being it. You give up wanting the desire of experiencing it because that would entail you'd have to be something else. And you're not. Yeah? Yeah. I feel satsang's helpful. This is the only thing I've been doing all these years. Yeah. Hmm. maybe like Starbucks would have realized it makes a good coffee and it didn't have to make 49 different versions of fucking shit. Yeah. But obviously it didn't believe it was enough, so it had to go off on this huge tangent. Yeah. Masquerade the bean of caffeine, so you couldn't recognize it anymore. Mostly it's a minor ingredient to a sugar drink or something. Yeah. Well, it's much more successful, but does it taste better? Yeah. This isn't about getting a mass population of viewers. It's about inviting what we are to see what it's not. Because I guarantee if you see what you're not from what you are, which you're doing right now, with this meager understanding, there'll be a loss of interest in what you're not. Yeah. It will keep on keeping on, but I'll tell you, it won't be the center of the universe. Yes, it won't be all that you can think about. it won't be a lot of things. And it's actually better for it, yeah? I mean, seriously. Yeah. So, if you were looking for a direction, this direction is negation. Where do you start? Right here. Where do you stop? Right here. Yes? Simple. You have the evidence right now. The seeing always precedes the seer, always. There is no need for a seer concerning the seeing, but concerning the seer, it's essential that they're seeing. Yes? Seeing does not rely on the seer. The seer is totally dependent on seeing. Yeah? So maybe we've been going the wrong way. Yeah? Maybe we've just been I mean, it's a novel idea, I need do nothing, it is. But see, it's not something you chant. It's not the action figure chanting it. That's doing something with I need do nothing, yeah? It's an observation, yes? You gave up the ghost, so to speak. Yeah. And when something tells you you haven't or you didn't, it's not you. Yeah? Yeah, it's just trying to triangulate you. It's trying to locate you in time and space. It is. It's just fishing all day, trying to hook you because it knows when you bite the hook, you're going to feel like a historical fish. Yeah? And there goes the story. It's so confident, it doesn't really upgrade its loops, its tapes. They sound like they're from 1974 sometimes. They sound. Have you ever really took a basic, like an hour or so, of just bare bone description of what you're doing? All right, took a shower. Yes, do this, do that, and then just do it in an hour, and then try to remember what the narrative was when you were doing all this stuff. You're not doing it enough. You should be something like that. It doesn't even fit half the time. Yeah, it's just so off from actually what's going on. It's like way. It's incredible. It just goes, yeah. So, yeah. Happy to be here. I'm happy to see everybody. And, yeah. What's good for you is good for me, yeah? Satsang. Yeah, you have it by giving it away. I think if people are into the Course in Miracles, they say the best way to learn is to teach, yeah? Not be a teacher. Teaching. And what's the topic? What we're not. Yeah. I don't believe what we are, I feel, is indescribable, incomprehensible, impossible to know at all. So why not turn those desires and momentum to inquire on what's something that you can know, that you can see, yeah? And through that, a negation of that as being the before, obviously the before will dawn as if it's never not been dawned. Yeah, it will dawn on us. Yeah? And it brings great news. It always is, it always was, it always will be. Yeah? So no matter what, the absolute fact is, it always is, it always was, and it always will be. Yeah. So the worst thing you thought you did, no, it doesn't disqualify that. Because why? It comes before. Yes? Nothing comes before it. What comes after does not condition it. Yeah. What comes after doesn't outshine it. It outshines circumstances and situations. Circumstances and situations do not outshine it. Unless they can appear to if the after is taken to be that which is before. Yes? Because then the before is relegated to the after. Yeah. Now you're looking for it, you're hoping to arrive there, you're practicing to greet it, you're getting prepared, all for this afterwards. But it's before. It's already so. Yeah? So prep doesn't work. Planning the marriage doesn't work. They're stalling tactics, really. Yeah? That which is of time is never going to be ready for the timelessness. No, it misses it every second. Because every second it's looking for what's looking. It's not a future you're it, it's you're it now. Wait a minute. I don't like that. Yeah, I know. The head doesn't like to be because it can't. It loves to become because that is an act of time, yeah? But it has an inability to be at all. Yeah. It was and will be, it can. It's into becoming, but it isn't into being. It already believes it's covered the being. Paul is that which is being. Yeah. But Paul doesn't come out. It's not a natural arising. Paul is built on I was Paul in time. I will be Paul in time. Therefore, I am Paul in this moment of time. Not this timeless moment. This moment of time, I arrive at that from I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. Time. Yes? Underneath context, timelessness. That's the before. All right. Well, anyone wants to share or something? Who's running the show? Oh, Michael. Yeah.
Oh, come on in, Esther. Esther has her hand up.
Oh, Esther,
I'm
how are
waiting
you?
for it.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Esther C like the letter C. It's Esther C as in SEE.
Esther C. Yeah.
You
That's
like
good.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was following up with my response to your talk the other day on Saturday. I listened to what you said. You said that the like when I'm with my mother to think of service, and that helps a lot. And now when I'm with her, the stories continue. But like when we're sitting at Starbucks, there's just a presence and I'm listening, but it's more like I'm hearing, I'm not listening. And it's very enjoyable. We're like one unit. It's an experience of oneness because it's not what she's saying. It's not what she's saying. It's just the presence. And I really appreciate being able to experience her that way.
Yeah. I'm sure she does too.
Yeah, yeah. You can
Yeah.
tell she feels like she has company.
Yes.
And when like what you were saying today, the it's just the narrative today was I'm okay now. I was walking and this thought came, I'm okay now, but I have my stepmother who supports me. I have Alan, I have my mom, I have her stepmother's husband, I have my uncle. And what if when they're gone and it's just me left, what's that going to be like? And what you're explaining tonight is very helpful because that's like it seems like what you're saying is that that's a concept of me that it's I'm thinking that I'm what's after is before with that thought, that whole construct. And
Yes.
so yeah, so it's just really freeing.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of worrying, but it's not you that's worrying. You see? No, that's just, see, what I ran into when I entered, like, let's say, spirituality, uh, was they just what they were describing sounded like I had to stop doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I have to stop thinking, not judge so much, whatever. And then that didn't work in my case. So then where I was brought to was I saw that, uh, like, let's say, worrying about next week was important because there was a you that thought it shouldn't be worrying about next week. So then I was moved back, and that worked, where I saw the subject that believes it's doing all this stuff and not doing stuff it should be doing. I saw I'm not that, and then I lost interest in a lot of these improvement things, or I felt like I was an urban renewal project, and finally, just to vacuum up huge interest and attention budget, yeah, was canceled, yeah. And it was because that which was lending so much importance to these thoughts and these narrations was part and parcel of the thoughts and narrations. So I see that something's very scared that it's going to end, but I don't see that I'm scared because I'm going to end. Yes? I see the same shit, but I see it differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and from where I'm seeing it, there's no need to work on or change anything unless you're compelled to and moved, and I'm not moved to do it. So there's just a seeing of a lot of stuff that that it's like it's the same like smoke and fire, but no alarm goes off. Yes, because I'm not in the burning house. I'm not in the building that's going to get demolished. Yes, it just worked. I ran into something, or it ran into me, that worked, and it was just questioning the subject that's constantly being implied, because the subject of the fear, there is a subject, but it's not you. It's the manufactured idea of the system is scared shit. You're not scared shit. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the message. The message is just the after that's implied to be before, because that which is, so let's say the worrying about next week doesn't have much oomph unless the after is produced from it. Yeah. And then it really has a lot of feeling when you believe you're the before. Yeah. So you give it the meaning, and then there's a reaction to it. Yeah. If you take that out, there'll be a lot less meaning given to fucking everything that's flowing through. And what will happen is there'll be a loss of interest in all of this stuff, because that which is interested in you're going to be disconnected is that which believes it could be disconnected and connected, and that's not you. Yes. It's not a thing itself. It's an activity. It's an activity that's wants to have you see it as a noun and then give all the attention and interest to it. Yes? No. So now it does a thing. Oh, I'm not going to be taken care of. When the 12 people die suddenly, that all take care of me. Yeah. Okay. Something's scared, but I'm not that. Hallelujah. So I don't go into I shouldn't be scared. That never worked for me. It doesn't. I don't feel. Yeah. I just go, no. There's fear. It's not mine. So great. Then, because most shit comes to go. It does. The head likes to put it into an orbit. Yeah. And then you don't really know what came first, the chicken or the egg. You're lost. You're completely lost. Yeah. So this is what we try to put out, and then be clear about it. Put it out and attempt to just keep reasserting this one idea. This is not about anything that comes after. It's about the after that's implied to be before. That's it. Yeah. Because I really feel that's where the relief lies. Because I've been the depository of that relief. Yeah. So reverse engineering, there you go. Yeah. So I'm happy to see it's working for you, Esther. Yeah. I am. I'm happy. However it's working, if it's bringing relief and bringing, camaraderie with your mom and everything, fantastic. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who get in touch with me, they listen to the talks because it helped with their insomnia. No. Did I think that was the calling of and how the message should be received? Fuck it. Whatever works. If it works for insomnia, great. Listen away. There's tons of videos forever. Audios.
What's really funny is that the need do nothing section, I was studying the course for about 5 years, And the fifth year we were talking, going over it because nothing was working. I was suffering from all of the spirituality stuff terribly, even though I was going and going and going, paying tons of money, whatever. And then the need do nothing. And then that's just the message. That's for me. That's what works best for me. The need do nothing's yeah.
Great. Yes, great. It's an unusual one because obviously all our striving and everything is we really need to do a lot. But see, sometimes after you've been on that treadmill for a long time, it has great value, not the way you thought, because it informs you that it's failed. Yeah. So that's its greatest reveal, so to speak. It reveals that it can't get you to where you already are. Pretty good. Not any moment is wasted, truly. It's always valued. Yeah. You never blow it. There's none of that. No, there's no. Yeah. So I think, yeah, whatever. Nice to see you, Esther. I'm happy. Yeah. People like listening to it driving. It doesn't shit. Yeah. I thought they would have a bell and then get the candles and yes, let's get into a deep meditative condition. It's public source material. However it's used, if it's anywhere helpful to travel lighter, fantastic. I'm all for it. Yeah. In here, it's like the end will make it mean whatever it means for you. So, yep. Anyone else?
Yeah. Next up, we have Giorgio. Thank you so much, Esther.
Giorgio, I'm looking at your
Giorgio?
knees or something.
Yeah.
Oh, your foot. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Giorgio, are you there? I mean, I see you there.
I see a foot, right?
Yeah,
Or do I
see a
need
foot
glasses?
too.
Hold on. Is there a foot?
No, that's a foot. It's a
Oh, yeah.
foot.
Oh, no, I think he's lost it, so go ahead to someone else.
Okay. Well, we have no other hands up right now, Paul.
Oh, that's great. So let's say hello to
You got
everyone
position
and we
already?
can just keep lifting. So let's say hello to John in Florida. Nice to see you, John.
Thanks, Paul. Great share, man. Hey, if I may, man, you mentioned Ramana talking about, the spiritual practices and, and reading in your literature that you wrote, I've kind of given up on, I hate to say I've given up on prayer and meditation, but I'm not doing it as religiously as I was. And the effect is, it's great, man. Like I say, my head would always tell me, oh, you're not meditating enough, man. You're not praying right. Or, you're not getting through, that kind of stuff, man. And
Yeah.
I'm doing without it, right. And it doesn't happen like that anymore. I don't listen to it anymore. Like Esther said, I hear it. But the huge difference is what you said in that one book about, just don't listen to it. Don't listen to the station, man. And when I do that, my insomnia has, I'm sleeping through the fucking night, man. It's unbelievable. I've never slept through the night. The vultures are on the headboard constantly, man. And it's just little techniques. And like I say, I hate to say I don't pray and meditate anymore, but, if you are what you're looking for, like you say, who's doing the meditating, right? The freaking head.
Hey,
man.
John, know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to go to CVS and Walgreens and sell it for over-the-counter insomnia medicine.
Do it, man.
Buy one of these CDs. Go home. I
You'll be
bet
on
you
the
sleep.
cover of Forbes, dude, you know?
with
Really, man. I just thank you for your message, man. I've been putting it out there. Monday, I have a big book study at 7 a.m., right? And it
Yeah.
started off with just like 3 or 4 people, but now there's like a dozen people and a lot of newcomers. You know, I'm hitting them with some of this stuff, you know, and like I said, the older guys in AA are kind of like, what's this Buddhism shit, that kind of stuff, you know. But the kids are like, you can see it, you know, they're like, when it lands, they're like, holy shit. One kid
Yeah.
came running around the truck and gave me a hug. He goes, that's what I needed to. I forget what I even said, man. You know what I mean? I don't know what I said, but
Yeah.
he heard what I said, man, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And I thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for, like I say, these thoughts things are awesome, dude. And,
Oh, good.
I just want to thank you. Thank you very
Well,
much.
I'm very happy to watch you from the Zoom, so it's very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. You see the idea of time, though, and in this simple example. Yes? We are sentient. There's a sense of, and so you can see the seeing is before the seer. Yeah? And then with that evidence, enter the narrative, and the narrative has the seer is before the seeing. Yeah, you don't need tons of, just right there. In the head, its worldview is the seer is what's seeing. Yeah. In the actuality of observation, it's the seeing. Yeah. Yeah. Those are loggerheads. Yeah. That's a fundamental basis. The fundamental basis in the mental narrative is the seer is what's seeing. Yeah. The basis of our own observation is their seeing. Yeah. And everything else is a question mark, really. Yeah. Now, if that which is after is now seen to be before, that's a pretty profound basis also, yeah? You would think that, you know, this would be more in the analogy of the root and the tree. This would be more rootish, yeah, than leaves or branches, yeah? Because obviously there's seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. There's things going on, and they seem to all be verbs, yeah? Thinking, there's always, it's an activity, not a thing that's doing an activity, it's an activity. Yeah? Now, there's a mental activity that claims the other activities and uses it to imply that there's a noun. And the noun comes after and is not essential to the before, but the before is completely essential to the after. Yeah. So instead of trying to rely on the truth, just see the reliance on self. Yeah. And then you'll realize you're at the point of truth by seeing the reliance on self. You don't have to do shit about it. Stuff's going to happen. The awareness of it, bringing it into light, is the initiation of things moving. Yeah. You're not the mover of them. You'll be the observing of the moving. Yeah. And now in a way, you'll be feeling and sensing much more appropriately to what you actually are, which is a bunch of verbing going on as this action figure. Yeah. And you'll feel like it. And now you'll be directed from the verb instead of being directed from the noun. Yeah? Yeah. See how it works? For me, we came up with a little saying, which is traveling lighter. Yeah? Because that was the observation I've had over all the years. There's just been on a profound basis a traveling lighter through whatever life has in store for me, as this action figure, as this thing that has relations to other things, all that stuff. Yeah. And I came to a humble conclusion. What more do I want, really, than that, which is a traveling lighter? Yeah. You could say you could have 800 different lives, but really the real activity of them would be traveling through them. Yeah? Yes? You seemingly started, someone informed you you were this and that, and you seem to be going to the end point in time. Yeah? So you could have 800 different lives, but they all would have that same traveling in them. Yeah? There would be a movement. Yeah? So which would be more important, the specifics of all those hundreds of lives or the basis of traveling? The basis of traveling would be the real value, to have a lightness in the traveling, not the changing of all the specifics and particulars, which would prove most valuable. Yes? You don't have to move mountains. You just see them as molehills. Yes? Yes. So first there is the mountain, then there is no mountain, then there's a mountain again. What we're doing is putting us something before that statement, which is first there is no mountain, and then there's a mountain, then there's the wishing and the working hard to make that mountain disappear, only to be bummed out when it appears again. When it appears again, based on the beginning, the before, which is there is no mountain, you won't be bummed out or frustrated. Yes? There'll be frustration, but you won't be buying it. Yes? Because the reality wasn't first there was a mountain. No, the reality is first there is no mountain. Then there's a mountain. Then there's the hope or drive to make it disappear because we think it'll be much better. And then inevitably it always shows back up. Yeah? And then we get bummed out because there was a misunderstanding. Yeah? Now the understanding's cleared up. And the understanding is based, there is no mountain. Yeah? There. That works. All right, well, that's it, I guess. So we'll say goodbye or something. Whatever. What's going on?
Just one more thing I wanted to say about that mountain and no mountain. The idea that there's a problem, a sense of a problem. The Course in Miracles puts it that if you see it, that there is no problem because we know it's already been solved. And if we don't know what the problem is, then we can't find the solution, that sort of thing. Then you see the sense of a problem, you see there must have been a grievance there. And then you know that that's part of a thought system and you just don't buy it. You just see it.
Yes. But again, you don't see it. You don't just see it because of it. You see it because of the negation of the noun. Yeah. Because you've been seeing it forever, but it wasn't leading to a relief because it was being claimed and you were the seer. This case, we're not getting into all that which can be seen. We're just looking at, is there a seer? Yeah. I'll leave it up to light to reveal or show me whatever it's going to show me. But the more important aspect is there a me? Yes? And I feel there isn't. So what comes after, I don't care really about a lot of stuff. My relief isn't that the after changes, it's I'm relieved because I'm not the after. Yes, that's the good news. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. The challenge, and I love it, is their attempt to convey something that's a sense feltness, a basis, just like it would be so cool if you could see when the fish got that it was in the water. It's sort of like that. Yeah. If you could see it, the fish get it. Is it suddenly in the water? No, it's always been in the water. Yes, it's just a recognition of what's always realized. Yeah. It's nothing new. It's nothing old. It just is. Yeah. Yeah, it brings a sometimes my days mixed with getting older are just completely hallucinatory. Truly. It's geez, if man. The head would, is telling me to drive to the nearest hospital and give itself up to the psycho route. Thank God I don't listen to it. Yeah. I don't know how the idea of the feeler can even rest without getting thrown off by all the feelings, all the sensations, all of the stuff that's going on. Yeah, there's just so much buzz happening. I would think the feeler would be overwhelmed or have the strategy of neutering or muting most. Yeah. When that thing's taken off, I mean, you could just go off on a complete dialogue when someone asks how you feel. You could give them a blow by blow. It would be so many feelings in just 30 seconds. Yeah. But hey, let's say goodbye, eh? Yeah. Putting on my slippers. All right. Is that all right? What time is it? 5:30 or so? Yeah,
It's 5:30.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Hey, John, always a pleasure. Yes. Yeah. There's no stopping us now, John. Just let it, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Stop you, man. Keep it, let it rip.
Yes. Kathleen, Bill, thank you. Always a pleasure to see you too. Very happy that I got to meet you live. Tommy, Ireland, Don O, Kana, there he is. He's not in, all I know about Don is he's not in a Vipassana retreat. That's I'm clear about. We've got Alan M. Nice to meet you, Alan. Or see you. Kelly, as always. Yes. We got Giorgio. He's I see his knee, his left knee now. We got Sherry. Always a pleasure, Sherry. We may run into you. Yes, Sherry. Hey, in January, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've talked to Mia. I'm not sure. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Sherry. Yes,
Yeah.
with Mia. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to. Yeah.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Good. Yep. Bruce, as always, nice to see you. There's Mia. She's somewhere in Menlo Park.
No, I'm in San Francisco in the
Oh, you're in
mission.
San Francisco. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to
This
that
is-
thing. Yes.
Yeah. Good to
All right.
see you. Thanks. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. We have Esther C, S-E-E, yes. Jack, he's still in the same rocking chair. There he is since this morning. Zoe, as always. David B, David Bitterman, with some other lovely person there. Nice to see you. We got, oh, Erin dropped in. Nice to see you, Erin. All's well? Yes, good. We got Michael Sherman. Always a pleasure, Michael. Esteban. Yes, nice to see you. Michael Stacy, thank you again, Michael, for opening the gateless gate. Yeah. Laurie, as always. Susan K, my latte lady. I think that's it. Let's see. I think we got everyone. Hey, thank you so much for having us, and